Lerone Murphy reacts to his victory over Josh Emmett in their Fight Night main event at UFC Apex. The undefeated featherweight was ranked number 10 before the fight took place, and we can expect him to get bumped up a couple of spots in the next update. It's probably safe to say that his performance didn't win him over many new fans, though. In the post-fight interview, Lerone shared thoughts on this and talked about his plan for his immediate future in the UFC.
He was trying to drag me into a fight. He was pointing at the ground. Yeah. I had to stick to him.
Did you want to, though?
I wanted to so bad. And McConnell was just saying, don't take
the bait.
Yeah, man, he's a tough guy.
And, you know, when you get the crowd out there and they're giving you all this crap and they're booing you, you went a little full heel out there, you embraced it and you took care of that. But who do you want to be facing next? When you look up the division, Lerone?
To be honest, if I got a finish, I would have been calling for the title. But it was still a clinical performance, still a shutout, masterclass. But anybody in that top 3, top 4, maybe, where's Brian Ortega ranked? Where's he? I think that's a good fight.
Yeah.
Michael Chandler likes the fact that his upcoming fight with Paddy is a 5-rounder, explains why he thinks it favors him, and shares plans to stay active to compensate for the lost time when he was sidelined waiting for Conor McGregor. At this stage of his career, Mike feels that he has no more time to lose, and getting a win over an up-and-comer like Pimblett would certainly make things even more interesting for the whole dynamic of the old guard of elite lightweights holding the line against young prospects who didn't meet fans' expectations after first coming onto the scene, looking like a wave of change that was about to destroy most of the status quo. Gamrot, Fiziev, BSD, and others all failed in their attempt to replace the veterans at the top, and Sarukian's situation is also not the best, looking like he's going to need to go through somebody else before getting a title shot again. Pretty soon, we'll find out whether or not Paddy has what it takes to compete in the top 5 or even top 10 of the weight class. Chandler plans on keeping him out of there.
I like 5 rounds. I mean, I think it was thrown out by the UFC. I love 5 rounds. I think Paddy has faded. He faded in the Tony Ferguson fight. I think he was fading in the Jared Gordon fight. I just went 25 minutes with Charles Oliveira, the greatest submission artist in UFC history. And my body felt it a little bit, but while I was in the trenches, man, I felt great. And I love fighting 25 minutes. It's deep waters. I mean, you got an opportunity for me to continue to solidify who I am as a lightweight in the world in this division. And you got an opportunity for a young, up-and-coming, hungry guy who's got his greatest moment of opportunity against a guy like me. So why not do it? Why not do it 25 minutes? It could be a lot of stuff happening. So we'll see. I think obviously Ilya jumping into the division, Max jumping into the division, Poirier talking about a retirement fight. You got Gaethje and Hooker here in 3 weeks' time, whatever it is. Big fights, man. And I'm excited to share the card with Volk and Lopez.
Chael Sonnen is confident in his prediction of the Volkanovski versus Lopez fight outcome. Alex is currently the favorite in his title fight against the Brazilian prospect, according to bookmakers. This is interesting because considering the former champion is coming off knockout losses to Topuria and Makhachev and is 36 years old as a featherweight. What it means to be an older athlete at lower weight classes is no secret. Power, the great equalizer, which, as they say, always goes last, isn't something that can save the smaller guys as often or effectively as the heavier ones. Volk relies on maneuverability, speed, and durability. That's one of the primary reasons we've seen him lose his last 2, when he wasn't as sharp and durable as a couple of years ago. Facing someone like Lopez, who's an aggressive fighter with heavy hands, is a difficult task for Alex. But if anyone can do it at this age or on a losing streak, it is him. The title being on the line is as much motivation as he could get for his comeback fight, so it should make for a good fight. Chael doesn't think it's going to go well for him, though.
Following this for an entire lifetime, I'll bring wrestling into it, I'll bring boxing into it. If you're ever number 1 and you lose your spot, you will never get that spot back. And the only way that you can even be competitive is if you go way down the roster. And I don't know why that is, because the skills are there. There seems to be hesitation. It seems to be a little bit like the 4-minute mile. But as far as a life or a career or who has done more wonderful things, none of that was the question. Criteria right now is simply who's going to win, Lopez versus Volkanovski. And the answer is Lopez.
Paul Felder reveals his crazy street fight experience, which left a guy with a deformed nose and bleeding all over himself in the street. This isn't the first time we've learned about fighters getting into physical altercations and then talking about it in interviews or podcasts, and unlike most other sports communities in the MMA world, it's even somewhat predictable and, when it does happen, not as criticized. It certainly makes for interesting headlines and topic of discussion. But when a fighter himself talks about his own experience in the incident, it always adds to it. In a conversation with Michael Bisping, Felder said he got into a street fight with a guy much bigger than him and smashed his nose with knees from the clinch.
This dude is just dropping not racial slurs, like homophobic slurs at some of the guys, being a real asshole about it. And granted, I know I can fight, but I'm also just trying to have a good time. I'm talking to all my friends. Anyway, the guy goes to leave and he calls me. I try to shake his hand and just be like, yo, man, you're leaving. Let's squash this. And he's like, all right, no. You Bobby Flay looking F. I won't say it on here, but you get the homophobic slur that he calls me. And I can't let it go. And my friend is out there saying goodbye to the other girl and some other friends. So I follow them down. And the guy's still there, just staring at me out back now. And I finally lost it. And I was like, what are you looking at, bro? And he starts walking towards me. And I was like, you want to fight? The guy comes close enough to me, throws a right hand. I catch it and I put him in a clinch. And I knee this like 8 times square in the nose, Michael. And there is just blood all over this dude's face. And his nose, I can see the bridge of his nose is in pieces, like into his face. And I remember my friend's pulling him away, and I was like, wipe your nose. And he gets pulled away.
Big John McCarthy and Josh Thomson comment on the uncertainty at the top of the lightweight division and what that means for Islam Makhachev's immediate future. Topuria's move to 155 shook things up in already the most stacked weight class in the company. But what many people assumed and hoped for to see in the Georgian's debut fight at 155 isn't likely to happen anymore. Looks like Makhachev versus Topuria super fight isn't the next move in the championship picture. His coach even expressed lack of interest in facing another featherweight in Ilya next, because of the built-in excuse that some people would use if Islam beats him. His former teammate Josh Thomson thinks that the most likely outcome is Makhachev moving up a weight class and letting someone else fight for the vacant title.
If you put Ilya with Arman and the winner gets Islam, Islam is going to go, I have no qualm about it now. You just beat the best guy. Like, I can't say no. And Islam's always said, I don't care. You bring King Kong in here, he makes 155, I'll fight him. I understand that motto for him, but he's also talking about his legacy. And so for him to say, like, I'll give another 45-pounder a shot, like if he beats someone, then I can see that. But if they're going to make him fight Islam, I think Islam goes up in weight.